and I are going back to like my kind of like childhood, teenage era. His like early 30s, mid 30s, and we're going to go and see Blink-182 together.
Super old because Today we've got a football guest on the podcast, and it is a female footballer, an elite female footballer.
I really like the segue.
It was a good segue. Yeah, went from music, jumped absolutely seamlessly straight into football. Yeah.
No, well, I guess
people probably thought we were going to go and over to this music. Nope, not as we keeping your toes.
No, we're keeping you on your toes, but it is exciting because maybe you just can't wait to get into the interview, right?
No, I'd done this interview by myself. I think you were on holiday. You were swanning about somewhere.
Yeah, I was.
Cutting about, eating cannolis. See, that's what we say about...
I love a cannoli, okay?
She likes a cannoli, and if we're kind of like...
Pistachio, preferably.
Where do you think Rebecca is, or where do you think X is, whoever it may be, and the Scottish answer is, they must be cutting about eating cannolis.
Yeah, for like our non-Scottish listeners, that's a phrase that you can start to use. I think we should start maybe
Break
teaching
it down.
so often.
Cutting about just means...
Like you're just...
Walking
about, you're just going different places, you're cutting about.
And eating cannolis just means exactly that.
Yeah, so if you're listening or you're watching this podcast, you can like submit your best cutting about phrase. Like tell us what you were doing at the weekend, where were you cutting about? Just drop us a DM on socials.
Yes, let's. This has been a crazy intro opener all over the place.
Anyway, back to your interview.
Yeah, so
I wasn't here, so tell me about it.
It was Sarah Crilly, and I think we should just go into it, and we can learn more about
female footballer,
female elite footballer, Scottish, amazing story. Right, wait until you guys hear how she ended up being in the Scotland squad. Okay.
I think Stephen told me a little insight about this, and I actually
it is
it's
genuine. Like maybe one day there'll be a film made about this moment, and I'm not kidding. And fantastic person to catch up with. And let's just go.
Well, let's get into it.
Let's go.
We're here today with Sarah Crilly. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome, Sarah. What can you tell us about the journey that inspired you to get into football from when you were young?
So I think it all started during the school holidays. Most of my cousins my age were boys, and we all went to the one auntie who looked after us all, and we just played football all day, and I just got chucked into it that way.
Right, okay.
It all kind of started from there. My granddad, I think, played for like the Scottish schools and things like that. And
what do you mean he played? He played professionally for them, or?
As professional as you could get back then,
okay.
I think. And he always used to make the joke that he couldn't believe that out of all his grandsons, the first one to play for Scotland was his granddaughter.
And did any of the grandsons go on to play?
And they all played at a decent level, not professionally, but they all played like, whether it was local juniors, amateurs, a couple of them were in like the Airdrie set-up back in the day when, that would be 15 years ago or something like that. But all still played at like a decent junior level and things.
So that's the fun side of your introduction, right? But what made you fall in love with it enough to want to pursue a career in sport?
I think there's loads of different aspects of football that everybody loves. So you've got team cohesion is a massive one, like being in that team environment with girls or boys, whatever it was, sharing the same passion as you. And if the opportunity was there, you were going to grab it with two hands. And when I was younger, there wasn't the opportunity for girls, certainly in professional capacity. So you would do everything you could. You still wanted to be that professional footballer. You wanted to be that first girl in a boys' team, even though that was never going to happen. But then the older we got, the more success was when the national team was getting and things. So there was, again, more financial resources put in, and that opportunity kind of arose. So when I played at like the national teams from, I think, under 15s right through to under 19s. And then there was a set-up of the Women's National Academy at Stardom University.
Right.
So it was myself, and I think it was 15 of us moved up there. So 4 years down the university degree, but trained alongside in that elite environment. So you were training 7 o'clock in the morning, going to uni, gym in the afternoon, and then training with your club at night. And then it was from that I then fed into the Women's National team as well.
Do you think then that now, I mean, there's enough opportunities for girls? It's better than when you were younger. It's got better, but is there enough opportunities, enough clubs, is there enough kind of inlets for them to want to go and...
Yeah, I would say so. You've now got, without knowing the numbers, like there's so many teams across Glasgow alone. I think even just in the West region that we're based, we've got Sales, Giffnut, Busby, Drumchapel, Glasgow Girls. That's only 5 out of 40 million, I think.
And then that's right across the country as well. I reckon it's right across.
Well, there's obviously a wee bit less, like the more north you go and potentially more easternly you go. Central Belt, the southeast and the west are probably the most populated areas of Scotland, so normally there is the more opportunities for them. So there's multiple clubs that run from whether it's under 8s, under 10s, right through to under 18s. Some of them have women's team and Championship PL, or it might be SWFL. Just an opportunity for you no matter what level that you're comfortable with. And then there's a lot of actual recreational clubs out there that they might not be an affiliated SWF club, but they just run a women's recreational programme and target whether it's over 30s, over 40s, so that there's still so much opportunity to be active.
And I mean, one thing we're quite passionate about is kind of not just in the football space, but right across the board. Like, for instance, gymnastics. We're really encouraging as a company to try and get male gymnasts. There's not a lot, but there is, right?
Yeah.
But there's nowhere near as many as there is females. And in the same respect, we are encouraging to get girls into football and to take the opportunities in these clubs, but also the kind of more commercial clubs that might use our software and that might what could say a commercial club, right? Say a club that was running for camps and just like for fun, say, not necessarily kind of based on leagues and whatnot. What could they do you think, to attract more kids? Because it sounds like at that level there is the opportunity, but from what we see on the ground, I think that it's still very kind of male dominated in the youth sports sort of section of it. What could they do? What could these clubs do to try and bring more girls in?
I think you can remove a lot of barriers to allowing the girls to go there. So it might be that if you go into a local school and there's 20 kids throughout the school, for example, that you can find out where they're based and actually go to them. Like, rather, so you're right away, you're taking out the transport of parents and guardians, getting them to a venue, because not everybody drives, not everybody can afford buses, taxis and things like that. So if you can pick a venue that is local to this group of kids that you've identified, then it's making it easily accessible for them to come on. You can also have proper qualified coaches in place that's then attractive. You want your kid to go and learn in a fun environment, but learn and develop at the same time. You're not just with somebody that's just taking them for the sake of taking them. You've got somebody there that's, whether it's a 1.1, 1.3 UFC licence, whatever it may be, that is there, experienced and knows what they're doing, and that'll make them want to come back.
So that's the difference. And when we spoke a few weeks ago, I think that came out as well, and that obviously, and it's a great thing in the kind of grassroots when the parents get involved, right? But what's your opinion on, and it doesn't need to be controversial, but on the development of these kids by the parents is never going to be as good as the development of these kids by qualified tutors.
I think without parents, guardians, volunteers, like, most clubs wouldn't be where we're at, and even ourselves, like, we've ran solely on volunteers and parent helpers for I don't know how many years, and it's only been in the last couple of years that we've thankfully managed to put the resource in to get these qualified coaches, and whether it's putting them through their badges or actually resourcing them for their experience. I think parent helpers will get you as far as you want to go.
Yeah.
But then there comes a time in your child's development that you will want them under a qualified coach, because there might be things that they recognise that a parent helper wouldn't, because this parent helper has dedicated their working life to developing their football aspects, whereas a qualified coach, that might be the be-all and end-all for them. They want to make it to the top, so they will be putting all their investment into like self-development for them. So
yeah, I mean the parents, they respect that as well, if they are looking for that child of theirs to go up and become more elite, that they need the tuition of the more qualified people.
Yeah, I think it's the same in every aspect. Like, a volunteer will get you so far, but then there comes a point in time where you will need someone else with the more experience, the qualifications to take, whether that's on football or another aspect of life, to take you to the next level. Yeah, and I think that's just a given in where you need to be if you want to be an elite athlete or an elite tech person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it doesn't matter. Respect it's in you.
And it's to say, like, one of the things that we always kind of bring up as well is that it's not all, it's not the be-all and end-all, right? If you love football, if you love gymnastics, whatever it is you may love, and you're not going to become that elite person, right, in the end, but you still want to be in that industry, there's 100 other things you can do within the industries. particularly with football, there's lots of other things you can do as part of a club than kicking the ball about on the field.
Yeah, but there's so many opportunities now, like even myself, yes, I've been at the elite level,
Yep.
but I've also now been on the operational side of things, like working with SFA, working with UEFA, now at Glasgow City. Like, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that as players you don't understand, you don't recognise until you've seen it.
Yep.
So whether that might be like an administrator or health and wellbeing or refereeing, coach education, there's so many different areas of all sports now that you might not make it as a player or an athlete, but there's other ways that you can develop still within the environment that you want to be in.
And stay in that thing you're passionate about.
Yeah, exactly. And I think refereeing's a massive one, certainly now in Scotland. Like, they're trying to push for so many young female referees, right? It keeps you involved in the game. Now, I would never want to be a referee ever, but I couldn't think of anything worse. But I've also known people that have got so much passion for being a referee and being a match official because there's opportunities. Certainly as a female referee in Scotland, if you worked really hard, you can end up being a youth referee and get called up for national teams or Champions League matches or whatever it may be.
So there's a shortage
Of female referees.
Right.
Yeah.
Why?
I think
They don't want to be
they probably do want to play initially, but then they might recognise that their ability might not be there to go all the way where they want to do. But thankfully there are other opportunities at recreational lower leagues and things. But I think historically we all know that the abuse that some referees can take, and it's not a nice feeling. So to actually put yourself in that environment and opening it up to potentially getting that abuse, it's not something I would want to open that child up to.
No, of course, yeah, you say like that, but if the skin's tough enough, then there's potential careers there that need
100%. But like,
space, need filling.
as we said, it's the same as anything. Like, if you dedicate yourself to it, there's going to be opportunities and it'll open new doors.
Yeah.
And the SFA are certainly doing a massive push right now on young female referees, so the opportunity's there. I don't know how long it takes you to get to the top level, but
as long as any other career anywhere takes you, it's going to be
exactly, and it's in your own hands. Like,
Yeah.
if you want to keep developing, going through, I think it is badges, I'm not entirely sure,
Right.
and you can go all the way to the top. The more you do, the more, whether you start at under 10s and then do 7-a-side, 9-a-side, 11-a-side, into the boys and the senior girls game and the senior boys game, just it depends. And then there might be an opportunity to do an occasional cup final or a UEFA match or whatever it may be. And then I don't know about the female UEFA referees, but I know certainly a lot of the men are full-time, so there's full-time opportunities to be a referee. And then even if it's not for you, you could still be that operational person that organises all the referees. Like, there's still opportunities, whether it's
we always like to highlight the opportunities and like, don't feel bad. And this is to the kids. Like, don't feel bad if you're not getting there. There's always something. That's, as I say, the same in gymnastics, same in performance arts. If you're not going to be up on the stage, you could be doing the lighting, you could be doing the sound, you could be
marketing, PR, whatever it may be.
companies
And there's a massive team. Yeah, there's a massive team behind the scenes to even put one match on. And obviously, I've worked at the SFA, and I don't know the numbers, but you've got 100 odd people working on one game for 12 weeks in the build up to it. But as a fan,
you just walk and sit down, watch. And as a player, before you know all that, it's training and then playing the game.
Yeah.
And they don't know about the...
I've been the player and asked our team admin, can I get this? It's never been anything big. And then all of a sudden it's there.
Yeah.
You don't understand how many people have played away and got whatever it was to bring it back, or if it's been a more difficult thing to get, like how hard they've worked to actually get it for you. And it's seamless, and that means the team behind the scenes are doing their job right, because it doesn't affect the players, the coaching staff, because that's what you want. A good game for us is if the players and the coaches and everything don't even know you're there. Because
to see always
no impact of them.
The invisibility that means things are working right.
Yep.
So on coach then, right, in your career, what you must have somebody that inspired you, or somebody that way back when you were first training, was there a coach that you were like, right, okay, this person's got me really on the up?
There's probably one or two, to be fair. So when I was 12, 13, I was part of the SFA's regional squads, is what it was called back then. I think I don't even know what they think it's emerging talent centres are called now. And it was a guy called Donald Gillis, who's now Rangers Women's Managing Director. So Donald was my coach,
Right.
that age group. Had a really good relationship from Donald from day one. He helped me develop through the regional squads and international setups. And then when I went back to work at the SNA, Donald was not quite my line manager, but he was the head of girls and women's football, and I was like the league administrator for SWPL at the time, so I fed quite a lot into Donald. So the fact that we kind of went our separate ways, playing and coaching, but then came back together.
Full circle.
Yeah, again, full circle, as you said, and then done the UEFA Under-19s tournament as well, like with Donald as being the head of girls and women's football. So he's definitely one. And then
I mean, it's just nice to hear Wales.
yeah, and then probably Kevin Murphy. So Kevin Murphy was I think technically he was assistant coach and then head coach of Hamilton Accies
Right.
when I played there. Again, known Kevin for years prior to that and things, and just he was the one that gave me the opportunity into the first team at Hamilton, which then opened the doors for me to go into Glasgow City and things. And then again, full circle back, Kevin was then working at Rangers, Hearts, Man City. Like, he's always been involved in football, and now he works for Arsenal, so it's good to still have these people that were once upon a time coaches.
Yeah.
But again, as we've talked about, still other opportunities, they're still in the game doing different things and using their experience and knowledge to benefit others now. So they two people let me see the other opportunities that were in football. And then with my opportunity at the SFA, that led me to the opportunity I got with UEFA, and then ultimately back to Glasgow City. So it's always been in football, so it's good to know that the opportunities are there when you can't be that elite player.
Yeah. Okay, about being an elite player then, what you probably got loads, right, but what main standout moment is there for you in your in your career?
So I think internationally, I don't even know if you'll know this story. It seems like everybody in football knows this story.
Right.
So I
Remember, and everybody that listens to this knows, I know very little about football, so I probably wouldn't want to go.
my first Scotland cap, we were playing Norway and
Somebody told me the other day that you actually used to get a cap.
yeah, you get caps. I've got mine framed.
Oh, you still get them?
Yeah.
All right, okay, cool, that's good to know.
I don't know if they still do. It's been a while since I've played. I think they do. But no, my first cap, I wasn't even actually part of the squad, so they picked this 23 or whatever it was. But there was a few injuries and things, so they'd asked the academy girls, so the national academy I was at, to come and train the night before to make up the numbers so that they can do their shaping and things like that. So, not an issue yet, we'll go and sit in Fairman. Went back home, I was going to uni the next day, and they were like, you coming to the game? And I was like, I don't know, it was pouring down, like absolutely pouring down. I was like, don't know if I can be bothered, I've got a lot of uni work on to do. And then it was one of the other girls was just like, let's go. So we'll go to Dunfermline. So game kicked off, we were in the stand. Can't remember the score at the time. I think it was 0-0 at half time or 1-0 in Norway, can't remember. And then all of a sudden the team manager of the Scotland team like shouts up and it's like, is Sarah there? It's closed door game, so there's not thousands of fans. So it was like, yeah, I'm here. And she's like, can you come down? So I was like, aye, no bother. Like, what's going on? Like, what do you need? She was like, some of the girls have taken not well at half time, so we might need you to sit on the bench. And I was just like, right, okay. My hair's soaking, bear in mind, I hadn't even, like, I'd showered and was just lying on my bed. I hadn't even got myself ready. And I was like, okay. Sat down on the bench. No, before that, sorry, I was like, right, let's go in and get you, like, a strip and boots. They'd be like, have you got your boots with you? And I went, no. Like, I came as a fan and it was my friend that drove. So they're like, what size are you? And I've got tiny feet. So it's like, I'm a 3. Nobody in the squad has got a size 3, so closest player was Christy Murray, so she gave me her boots that were a size 5.
Oh, that's not close.
And then I had Rachel Corsey's strip on, so Rachel, as everybody knows, is quite a bit bigger than me, like taller. So I had her strip on, and I was even smaller at the time, so
That's so
the strip's gone down to my knees, the shorts, there isn't a gap. Yep. 2 pairs of socks on to get everything to fit me, so I was like, this is ridiculous. So I went and sat on the bench. Everybody was just laughing that I was even there. Then 2 minutes later, it was like, right, Sarah, we'll warm up. You're going on. Odd. And I just remember it was Tommy Craig was a sports scientist. I'd worked with Tommy at the National Academy again. I just put my shinnies on. And I was literally like this. I was like, this isn't happening. And he grabbed my hand and he's like, calm down, you're fine. There's no pressure. I was just like, right, okay. You know, and this course. And everybody just came running towards me, like, everybody's laughing, like, literally barely laughing. Like, I've came on out of nowhere, and scored the goal. And I think, was it 2-2, I think the game finished. My friends are then phoning my dad and being like, oh my God, guess what's just happened? My dad's fuming because my dad never missed a game.
And just wanted to
he wasn't at this one, and he was like, what? And then my dad's like, people in work were saying, oh, I've seen your daughter's just got on for Scotland. And my dad's like, what?
It's literally like, it's like something at Hollywood.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. So I was then my mum and dad were getting emails from, one was from the One Show, an American TV wanted to make a film about it. My dad's, I want to get George Clooney to play me, and and it was getting blown out of proportion because I think America thought I was just a fan.
Right.
Got pulled out the stand. Roy the Rovers kind of.
I used to ran with that. And
then also everybody here knew the situation, but it was still funny. And then they say Phoebe sort of like, we need to kind of aim this thing. It's getting a bit far. And I was like, it's no me. I'm just sitting here carrying on with training with Hamilton at the time. But it was just, that was a realist fight.
I mean, I'm so glad I didn't know that story. It's good.
Like, you can still Google it, and there's a wee American woman that talks about it and talking about her.
Is there footage of it?
There is, not on
Like that, maybe a long time.
No. So there's plenty of photos, because it was like, I think the title was like Cup of Hero or something, because I had a cup of tea in my hand, like when they shout down, like in all and
I'll do it.
And you can tell the strip is massive on.
That's so interesting. The Americans thought that you were just, because that's their big rags to riches story, isn't it?
Yep.
The American dream. It's like, yep, you.
You on you come.
But that's amazing.
I know, it's very memorable to be there.
Yeah.
It's a good story to tell.
Brilliant answer. Where do you see yourself in 3 years?
It's a difficult one, like, because a few people have actually asked me, like, recently, like, where do you see your career going? Like,
Well, let's go watch.
no, I really love my job at Glasgow City, like, getting to see players progress throughout the academy, whether that's in the elite environment or their more recreational side.
Yep.
It's great, like, just not even seeing them progress as players, but as people more than anything. Like, there's some of our kids that have been in since they were 10, 11, and they're now at the under 18s, for example, like, and you've seen them grow the whole way through, like, and that's certainly, like, a proud thing for me, like, because we are developing footballers, but we're also trying to develop positive young girls at the same time. And I think off the park stuff for me goes such a long way. Like, even just the little things about respect. When I turn up to training, it's the fist bumps, it's a hi Sarah. Like, you get it more from the younger ones, because the older ones are more focused and maybe too cool at the same time. Whereas you go at the younger ones, it's like, hi Sarah. And I like that, like, just knowing, like, they're buzzing to be at training, and then I come along and they can chat to me, like, as I'm one of their pals, basically.
Yeah. Part of the family, from what we know about, like, all of the different, again, and all the different sort of gymnastics and dance, the teachers are, they are literally the ones that they confide in and things like that as well.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think a lot of our coaches have been in loads of different courses and things, about, because dealing with young girls is different. They're difficult, we all know. Like, they've got so much other things going on in their life. Saying boys are the exact same. So we've put, like, a lot of our coaches through, like, the divergent courses and things like that as well. So it's like, how can you be approachable to every girl on the team, no matter what level they're like, whether that is if they have autism or ADHD, or if it's just they had an issue at school or whatever it may be. Like, to be an approachable adult in that environment makes such a difference for the girls to actually have somebody they can go and confide in. There's never, thankfully, been a time where our coaches have had to flag it and go, this is an issue, we need to tell their parents. Thankfully, it's just all been little things, whether that's about, oh, I want to maybe try out this position or whatever it may be, but they're happy to have that open conversation with the coach, and that's such a big thing for them.
I mean, you must just be an amazingly positive role model for these girls.
Well, I don't know about that. I try to be. Hopefully they do think
I mean, you are, just by being you and doing what you've done, do you know? I mean, there's so many that must look up to you.
I mean, I'd like to think so. Just, again, through both sides, like the elite side of things and playing, but also I would say how well organised their academy actually is. And we've had, like, new players have came in recently and compared it to other clubs and said that it's night and day. It's just so, there's everything you need to do. Like, but then there are times that it might be, like, I've not actually spoke to you directly in 2 months, but it's not because I don't want to, it's because I've got nothing, there's nothing that you need to know that help you or unsettle you or anything like that. So we as a club always say we will speak to who we need to speak to when we need to speak to them. Like, we do like little updates. We've got a new system called Pachero that's an all singing, all dancing platform for our kids, like parents. That's where they like can get all this training information and things like that. So we do little updates on that about new academy goalkeeping, which are going to be in, this is the schedule and things like that. So it's just keep them in touch that way, rather than it doesn't need to be direct contact all the time. Just being there. And I'd like to think both myself and Faye, who's the academy administrator, are very approachable and very transparent in everything we do. If anybody sends an email, their phones we're there. We're getting back to you certainly within a couple of hours, if not latest a day. And that's how we like to conduct our business, because
Good customer
that's how we would like people to treat us as well.
It's the same as that.
Even if it's like myself and Faye had an example last week, because I was over in Germany for the Euros. Like, it was something that came in. Faye wasn't entirely sure what the answer was, so she just sent a holding email. Thanks for getting in touch. Like, Sarah's actually on annual leave right now, but we'll get back to you soon. She's back.
Yeah.
Like, just wee things like that, rather than not replying and just saying back. It's a week later, and by the way, but as you said, it's good customer service, and our players and parents are customers. Like, that's how we treat them. And I've said if we can treat them as best and how we would want to be treated, then I think we're doing the right thing.
Okay, so as I said, I think you're probably, whether you accept or not, a very positive role model for the girls. Who was your role model?
I mean, I would always say my family, like mum, dad, sister, like grands, granddad's cousins. Like, I've got such a close-knit family and a big sporting family. Yeah. My sister was a runner, couldn't play football to save her life, so she's watching this. I'm not even going to apologise. She was a runner. My dad was a footballer. My mum actually played football once upon a time as well. And said all my cousins did. My granddad did. Like, so just having them to look up to. Like, most of my cousins, boy cousins other than one on that side of the family, were older than me. So it was just having them, like, just to play football with, and as I say, like, inspired me to actually take it on.
Did that give you kind of development and no fear, and just like you were like right amongst it straight away?
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. Like, even when I was in, I think it's primary 7, all the boys in my class played for the club called Milton Rovers, and they were constantly on at their coach, there's a wee girl in our school, blah blah blah, and he just refused. He was like, no girls, blah blah blah. And then the coach changed, and the boys then were on it again, and was like, can we invite Sarah along? And he was like, aye, come on. And my dad always says this, he remembers, he was like, he's trained really well. And he went, but in the game at the end of training, he's like, they punted the ball up, like, just to put it in play, and he was like, it came down from 40 yards, and he went, you touched it dead. And it was like, right away, everybody was like, oh. So again, it's just like wee things like that if that opportunity, like, if that coach didn't let me come to training, don't know where I would be at. It's just simple things of allowing me to come to that one night to let them actually see what I could do. And then from then I was in the team for, I think, 3-4 years. I was at the before I moved on.
Just so much in that, what you said, let me show you what I can do. Mm-hmm. Like, right across the board, you know, like in everything, not just sport, but like in some people just need that opportunity and somebody to look and listen and go, okay, show me.
Yeah, and that's like,
and to go.
We were always like, until we're at max capacity at squads, which some squads we currently are, like, we will always give a player an opportunity to come in, show us what you can do, and then that's when the coaches to make the decision. And it's not even if they weren't at the level, it's not you're not good enough. It's like our teams are actually quite, even in our community side, they're quite elite. So the level is high, so we've got to think about that individual's development. If we're bringing them into this squad, are they going to play very often? Probably not, if they're not at the level. So we will always do what's best for that individual. Like, you're not ready for this Glasgow City team, but here are other clubs within the West region that are maybe tier 2 or whatever it may be that we would advise you to go and play with, get your game time, and we can always keep tabs on these players. Like, can always go away, develop, and if a year later you're in a much better position, we're more than happy to have another look at you. Like, the door is never closed.
So, Rebecca, you're sitting there, right, at the Blink 182 gig. You sitting or standing?
I'm standing.
And you, like, this is all kind of speculation, right? And kind of made up. You've been playing the guitar for a while, right?
Yeah.
And then, what's his name, the guitar man?
Mark or Tom
hurt their hand.
Oh no.
And they go, guys, I need somebody to come up and play.
But that's not their accent.
Okay. hey guys, I need somebody to come up and play.
Yeah, that's it. That
Is that more
sounds
like
exactly
it?
them, yeah.
And your wee hand goes up, and then they point at you in the middle of the crowd, and you get taken up on stage, and you get to play, and then afterwards you're asked to start a band,
Yeah.
and that band makes you really, really popular and famous. That is the equivalent of what happened to Sarah Crilly.
I am very impressed with your analogy.
There you
Well
go.
done.
Yeah, I segued that well. It made that first segue, which was absolute rubbish, made up for all that.
Yeah, great analogy. No, I mean, Sarah's story is, like you said at the start of this podcast, there's going to be a movie made about this one
Yeah.
day, for sure. And if you're a movie producer or you know somebody in the
We've got a
film
script.
industry,
We've got a script.
we've got the script.
We've got a filmmaker here. We're halfway Hollywood. Oops, that's my doorbell. I'm very sorry. Has that been my phone that's been ringing the whole time? I am very, very unprofessional.
Yes. Are we keeping that in?
Yeah, we'll just keep that
Okay. Sarah's story, to be in the crowd and to be pulled out of the crowd to actually play for your national team.
Yep. I know that she explained how, as you just listened to, listeners, the clothes, they didn't even have a kit for her. The kit that she had to put on was oversized. The boots that she had to put on were oversized, and had to pack them out with like tissue. And she scored. She scored. In fact, scored the winning goal. It's like an actual dream.
That is like the probability of that happening to anybody else in the world. Like I can't even put it into probabilities. But that's absolutely just, it blows my mind.
And then from there, obviously, she works so closely now in female and just in football in general. She's a massive advocate for females in the sport, and I think that going forward there's lots we can work with her on, and kind of just lots of insights we can learn from. We've already started having a think about that getting into 2025, but
we have, because there is this kind of untapped space, I think, as working in the kids activity industry and the clubs that are operating within that. We've done things like future coaches and just being quite candid with our listeners and being transparent. Like we did think about, okay, how do we fold something to do with female football into this campaign? And actually it didn't quite feel right to fold it in just for the sake of shoehorning something in. It deserves its own space in its spotlight. So I can't say too much about exactly what that means, but there will be exciting things coming to Class for Kids in 2025 in that space. So if you are either thinking about extending your club and its current offerings to open up more classes that are female only, if you run a female only football academy and you're interested, please do keep an eye on our socials and everything that we're doing content wise in 2025, because there will be some useful content coming your way.
There will. Now I think that me having fixed that initially bad segue, we should wrap this up before I mess up again.
Okay, let's do it.
I'm going to let you end this.
Okay, well, it's been great to have all of our listeners listening to this podcast, watching it if you're watching it, and we hope that you've taken something really valuable away from Sarah's podcast with us and enjoyed your time with Class for Kids.
I've enjoyed talking to each and every one of you this week. I'm messing up again. You're letting me do it.
Yeah, okay, no, we're just going to wrap it up. Okay, we'll be back soon. 3, 2, 1, bye.